And every single one of these attacks, they are rooted in white supremacy.
I've watched white males become increasingly frightened of the fact that they are going to lose their numerical majority in the United States of America.
A massive anti-Trump protest is planned nationwide for this Saturday, April 5th. The Hands Off movement has organized over 1,100 events across every state. Organizers expect a large turnout, with nearly 250,000 people having already RSVP'd.
The people of the United States of America. The power of the people is greater than the people in power. It is time to heed the words.
Hundreds of protests planned all over the country this weekend against the Trump administration.
And here in Connecticut, 22 rallies will be held across the state.
This will be the third anti-Trump protest outside Hartford State Capitol since Trump took office.
Harry Dunn was there, the former Capitol police officer who fought the mob on January 6th and ran for Congress in Maryland.
The voices of thousands have been heard over the past few weeks.
Only 15 to 18% of the human population of the earth is classified as white.
White men represent 30% of the population, but 62% of office holders.
It's an attack on all of us, and it is all rooted in white supremacy. Even this random whitewashing of Jesus.
If you're a Christian, you go and you look at a picture up behind the minister, or whatever it is you're calling your religious leader, and you'll see a man who looked nothing like what Jesus Christ looked like. According to the Bible, he had kinky, woolly hair and feet of bronze. If it was good enough for Jesus, I would think it would be good enough for me and good enough for people like me. It's time for us to admit that our heritage over thousands of years is brown. It's not black, it's brown.
It is the white supremacist narrative of Christianity, the same one that kept black folk enslaved.
They want to attack the money source. They do not want to see black advancement. They want to go after the money.
And that is what has white males scared to death, because they're afraid that if they lose their power, they will be treated by other people the way we have treated those other people. That's what's going on.
This is a nationwide mobilization to stop the most brazen power grab in modern history.
Executive order as it relates to civil rights.
Former Vice President Kamala Harris is also weighing in, saying President Trump's actions have been largely predictable.
There were many things that we knew would happen.
That we have a 34-count convicted felon that is sitting in the White House, arguably the most prestigious job that you can have in this country.
Imagine if I had done any of this.
When I told the truth about him on a program called The View, I mentioned his bankruptcies, and I mentioned all of the sexual assault charges, and I mentioned that he was not, in fact, the businessman that everyone thinks he is.
And he just happens to be a felon. I don't know why somebody can't get a job at the Walmart.
I'm not here, so I told you so.
This man is a blatant racist.
Because of the show The Apprentice, where they sold a bunch of lies to America for over 10 years, and half of America believed it.
It's time to call it what it is. And he ran for the presidency deliberately and with determination so that he wouldn't have to go to jail as a result of all the ugly things that he has been doing over the last few years. He doesn't believe in establishing justice, not for himself and not for anyone else.
I question why the first time in American history a president has won every swing state and is also best friends, and his largest donor was a man who owns and runs the internet. So I would hope that that would be investigated.
7 swing states kind of popped up after the election, and we thought that was strange, given some of the polls, given some of the other analysis. And when we dove deeper, now we're seeing the potential for the vote counting machines to have been manipulated.
I'm here in solidarity because what's happening to our country is not right.
And when we looked at it, we actually pulled out the distribution, and we saw it shows statistical evidence of potential manipulation. And what that means is a portion of both candidates' votes look like they could have been changed.
Organizations are partnering with the Hands Off movement. The movement emphasizes a commitment to nonviolent action.
Be part of a nationwide protest against White House spending cuts.
We have systems in place that need to be gone through, not just one man making these arbitrary decisions for the rest of our country.
I'm going through the bill and I see a landmine planted in it. It's barely noticeable. For the first time in Georgia history, any voter can challenge an unlimited number of other voters and stop their ballots from being counted. And when I say unlimited, I mean unlimited. 4,000 voters were challenged. In Cobb County, it was 48,000 voters challenged. You challenged 32,379 voters, said don't count their ballots, or I have a piece of paper from you. This is what you filed with the county, which said you are challenging her right to have her ballot counted.
No, I'm not.
It says right here, accept this letter as a challenge to these electors' eligibility to vote. Signed, Pamela Reardon.
Facts matter.
Have you ever heard of the Ku Klux Klan?
Okay, so
Have you heard of the Ku Klux Klan law of 1871?
I'm from Canada.
So you don't know the Ku Klux Klan law?
I'm from Canada.
You clearly don't know Georgia law. The Ku Klux Klan law of 1871.
Get out.
We do know during the presidential election that the president would not go and participate in anything if fact-checking was going to be a part of it, because he didn't want to be fact-checked.
This is having a well-informed citizenry, which is reliant on a free, objective, effective press. Imagine if I had pulled Fox News' credentials from the White House press corps.
According to the polls, hey, Vice President Kamala Harris was doing way better with white voters. She was, according to the polls, she was getting a higher share of white voters than even Joe Biden did. And then come Tuesday, nope, none of that happened.
On election night in America, when Kamala Harris was filling up stadiums with people who supported her, and Donald Trump was not able to do that.
Talmadge was the Ku Klux Klan's candidate for governor. In a statewide radio address, Talmadge said, "Wise Negroes will stay away from the white folks' ballot boxes." But Franklin Roosevelt, Talmadge's nemesis, had promised black soldiers returning from World War II that they'd have the right to vote. To cover his tracks, Talmadge rebranded the Klan as a corporation.
The name the Klan chose for itself? Vigilantes Inc.
Its sole purpose was to remove black voters from the rolls, and they did. FBI files reveal that the entire list of Negro registrants was challenged. By removing thousands of black voters, Vigilantes Inc. succeeded in electing Talmadge to the governor's mansion.
In terms of what we were looking at in Clark County, Nevada, they published just after the election their vote record, their cast vote record, and that goes down to the tabulation machines and the 3 types of voting. So mail-in, early vote, and election day.
Because this is all about fear of losing the white majority.
White folks, you don't like it, but all you are is faded blacks. That's the way it is. Every one of you, if you trace your DNA back far enough, you're going to find that some of your DNA came from Africa, because we all have the same ancestor back there, every single one of us. And those of you who think you don't have are obviously from outer space.
It's because you can then misuse words like oppression. There has been no oppression for the white man in this country.
You are all members of the same race, the human race, which started with black women between 300,000.
That means that what I have to say is threatening to people who voted for Donosaurus T. Rome.
Well, that's also why I love having my own platform, because they can keep you off college campuses, but they can't keep you off this show because I own it.
The idea of canceling a speaker who comes to your campus, trying to shout them down and not letting them speak?
And it seems very strange to me that the President of the United States has so many friends who are sexual abusers.
Why do you think...
You know, if we don't tell our stories, then somebody else is going to co-opt those stories and is going to tell them for us.
A convicted felon and a man who has had so many charges against him and has the moral compass of a teenage boy, slowly waking. They're slowly waking to realize the cuts that he's making are not only going to affect the left-wing liberals that are woke, that they are afraid of and despise. When, as Jane Fonda said recently, being woke means you care about other people. And that's really all that it means.
Independent media, real-life TV dramas, mysteries, comedy, and unexplored content, embracing diverse storytellers that tells the truth and claps back on FUTV. Please support independent media.